This stuff is junk. It don't work. Flat out. I always stress that. One of my videos says the same thing. It will not last. You put it on there with this stuff, if you go to Walmart or anywhere like that and you buy these headliner adhesives, they'll fall out 3 to 6 months, guaranteed. Then you put all your time and effort into this Starlight, making it look good, and you're going to have to trash the whole thing and start all over again because you've got the wrong glue.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back. And today we're at Tri-County Upholstery here with Zach, and he's going to be showing us how you wrap a headliner start to finish. So let's go ahead and walk in.
What are you doing, buddy?
So we're inside here right now. You got Ashton over here, Jacob's over there. Zach had to go on an EMT call, so I think we're gonna go ahead and get this foam peeled off of here, the fabric and then the foam, and it shouldn't be too hard. Zach will lay out more of a defined step-by-step how to wrap this thing.
This is easy to strip that material with, but it's also easy to jerk a hole in your headliner. So what I do with these when I get them, just like this right here, I bum junk steel wire brushes off people. I don't want a brand new one, because a brand new one cuts a straight line and you can dig into these headliners with them. I always try to wire them out. I'll take them and rub them on the sides of these poles in here, or peck on them with a hammer or something other to get them frayed out and bent. So when I get one of these new, you know how they're in a straight line?
Yep.
I'll take and put it on a drill, and I'll run it forwards and backwards and like hold it up against a piece of metal. And it keeps them from being straight, and it makes them stick out everywhere. So then when you put it in your drill, let me chuck this one up and I'll show you what I'm talking about. You'll notice that one way, and I wish I had one in here to clean, I could show you. So let's walk over to the table and I'll show you what I'm talking about. I don't use it like this because it cuts and you can tear your headliner up with it. I use it like this. Now, you'll notice when you start into it, this drill is in forwards right now. So when you're in forwards, it's grabbing. You'll notice it taking chunks out of it. And if you don't watch, it'll catch and it'll jerk it. And then you've cut a hole in your headliner. So 99% of the times, I run it backwards. So then what I do is, and it's backwards. This is me being weird again, but it's what works. So if you're going forward, you see how the revolutions is going this way, yeah, and you want to go this way. It
slings it
with
that
it.
way.
It slings it that way. So when you put it in reverse, I put it in reverse, and then I run back and forth like that. So what that does is, when you come forward with it in reverse, it's cutting. And then when you come backwards with it this way, it's still cutting. So then you can make windshield wiper motions across it like this and use just your little fuzzies to peel that off of there, and you're not digging holes out in your headliners and having to go back and bond on them and fix them and all that different stuff.
Well,
but somebody, the last headliner that we done, somebody jumped into it head first and cleaned it on their own and did not consult me about how to clean it.
I was just trying to be helpful.
You was just trying to be helpful, but you seen how easy it was to tear it up.
It grabbed it, and man, it jerked a hole in it faster than anything.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying is, and that's just stuff I picked up over time, have messing with it and stuff. And I learned that, hey, a brand new one does not cut it, because when I got started, I didn't have no money. We just used whatever we had laying around, and I've still got my first one right here somewhere in one of these toolbox drawers, if it ain't disappeared. But my first one is still floating around in here somewhere, if I'm not mistaken, and it is pitiful. I mean, it is the awfulest looking little thing ever was. It ain't in there, I don't see it. I have one, and it was missing all but 2 or 3 strands, and it was something somebody was throwing away. And I just grabbed it because I couldn't afford to buy one. Bad off. This is one that we've bought, and I've bent the fronds and stuff over on it, but I'll sit here and pluck on them things and get them bent out sideways and stuff like that, because slow and steady wins the race. And yes, when you push on it, it wants to dig. And when it digs, you're plucking headliner too, lots of times. But when they're fronded out like that and all beat up, you're kind of plucking at it and it rolls it up. That's the reason why I do that.
Great explanation that Jacob missed.
He just jump in there and just set it going.
This side shouldn't give you
Now we're on the same boat, dude. Ain't no problem.
So what's going on, Zach?
Well, that glue, when you set it in there and it sets up, you got to clean these guns pretty often. It's good to have acetone. What I usually do is take acetone, set it on the side in another one, and then I'll run it through it and clean everything out before it sets up. But I left my gun laying for too long and it has set up in my tubes. So that's what I'm going to figure out here, is how to get it back cleaned out.
Today we're at Tri-County Upholstery with Zach, and he's going to be showing us how we're going to wrap a headliner in suede. We're going to go with black for this headliner. We've done drilled the holes and everything to get it right for the stars. So we have took off the foam. We had an eventful morning. Some things got sidetracked, but we're here now. So Zach, what's going to be our first process after we get all the foam and everything off?
So prep work is 100% of your outcome on these things. Everything has to be completely cleaned off. You'll see some stuff here, there's a little light color, but it's completely clean. You don't have any chunks of old headliner foam stuck to it, and it's good and clean, and it's ready for the glue. Because what we're going to do first is we're going to put a tack coat of this down. This coat that I'm getting ready to put down right now is the only, its whole job, its sole purpose is to bond to that headliner. So we're going to spray it with a light coat of that all the way over, and then we'll expand on that as we go before we put our material on. This stuff is junk. It don't work, flat out. I always stress that. One of my videos says the same thing, but this is $14 a can, and this is $7 a can. There's no difference in ingredients whatsoever. The reason you see a can of this in my shop is I use this on my sewing table, and its whole purpose is to get a piece of material to stick to my sew foam from the table till it gets to the sewing machine when I sew it on. It will not last. You put it on there with this stuff, if you go to Walmart or anywhere like that and you buy these headliner adhesives, they'll fall out 3 to 6 months, guaranteed. Then you've put all your time and effort into this Starlight, making it look good, and you're going to have to trash the whole thing and start all over again because you've got the wrong glue. That's the key to this. The glue is the thing. That is an absolute no-go. Somewhere in here, I've got a jug of my glue. And I buy it 5 gallons at a time. Right here. So, the only thing that's worth wrapping or putting a headliner in is this Weldwood contact adhesive. That is the only thing that is going to cause it to stand up. It will stand the test of time. I've got stuff that I've stuck on there. It's been outside for years and years and years. This is what all your big manufacturers use, is this or some brand of their own design that is equivalent to this. But if they ever stop making this, I will quit doing headliners, because there's no sense to put them in if they're going to fall back out. In the state of Virginia, you cannot get this. So that is the problem. So this stuff is the wildest thing you will ever deal with in your life, because it does not stick wet. It sticks dry. It sticks to itself. If it's wet, it'll fall off. If it's dry, it'll stick to itself. That's the key. You want to catch it at its perfect point of flashing so it sticks when you touch it.
Binds.
And the pressure from us rubbing on this thing is what makes it adhere. But if it's wet, it won't work. I don't care how good you do. If you put wet to wet, it will not stick or fall off. Don't know why. I fought it for years learning, and that's just the size of it. If it's not at its perfect point of flash, and you'll watch me sometimes, is I'll spray it when I come back to check it. If it's too dry, I'll spray another coat on. More light coats is better than less heavy coats. Now, my supplier, I buy everything for this shop off of All Bright Supply. They sell rattle cans of that glue. There's no sense in paying $300 some for that 5 gallons. If you're not in Virginia, you can get that glue, but Virginia, California, and a couple other states won't allow it. So what I have to do is I have to call a company that sells that stuff and runs a upholstery shop version of a Snap-on truck. And they're called Genco Supplies. They're out of North Carolina. I have to catch him when he circles down through Chattanooga and comes back towards North Carolina and intercept that truck at a Walmart in order to get my glue from him. So I always have to stay ahead of the game to catch that truck when he's on his wrap. That's but if I can't get that glue, I'm not gonna wrap headliners. I won't wrap nothing.
That's huge for wrapping plastics too, ain't it?
Yes, that's what I use to wrap all my plastics and everything. And that is how you can even wrap plastics. Is the reason why that stuff works so good is, like when I wrap plastics, I will spray my material and spray my components, like my door panels, my wood, my anything. I will take that and spray it tonight, and I'll let it dry plumb up. I'll put a light coat on it. I'll let it flash off 15 minutes. I'll come back, I'll put a second coat on it, and I'll go home. And then tomorrow morning when I come in, I'll bring it back out and I'll wrap with it, because you can reactivate it with heat. So all you got to do is hit it with some heat. It'll reactivate on both sides. When you stick it down and rub it, it adheres to itself. That's why those tack coats are the most important thing. So I'm going to just blow that off with some air, just for fun. Now, another thing on this. So with this headliner, you've got certain radiuses, like this. All these spots right here, you're looking for 80% coverage. You want 8, that's what you want. Anywhere else you can get by with 20%. But anywhere that has a stiff radius or something that's going to be under a lot of tension, you want 80% coverage. That's what I always go for. I actually probably overkill it a little bit. But it's better to have too much in the right stages than it is to not have enough. So say I spray this on here and I do this tack coat, and where the humidity is pretty low today and it's hot, it's going to flash off really, really quick. In the wintertime when I'm wrapping headliners and stuff, you're looking at 5 to 10 minutes in here. Well, if the heat's right with my clean burn and stuff, and you've got that moving and it's 70 degrees and dry, you've got about 5 minutes. Well, today I might spray it, and before I get my gloves and stuff on to come back and check the tack, it may already be set up. It may be one of those deals where we have to hit it and stick it quick, but we have to see how the humidity and stuff falls in the air. It's just like painting a car. The humidity is the thing, and it's got to flash off a degas. That's why that you can't get it in Virginia, because they can't ship it on an airplane, because the elevation will make it swell and pop. It'll bust those. So it has to all be sent by ground. It can't. Okay. The elevation stuff messes with it. You'll hear them things tinging all the time. But what we're going to do is we'll spray a tack coat, and I'm just going to lightly go over this whole thing one time, and then when I come back here in a second, after it dries completely up, I'm going to come back and I'm going to hit terminal areas like this corner, these pockets, around where these lights go. Anywhere that needs extra help to stay is what I'm going to focus on after I get this tack coat done. That's going to be a whole build right there. I mean, it's going to be a lot of time.
Things you see at an upholstery shop.
I got all kinds of stuff. Okay.
What is your thoughts on these? Because
here's the thing on those. There is some of them that you can do and some of them that you can't do. And I would love to be able to do them. But my thing is, what I worry about is, you have a beautiful truck and a set of beautiful visors.
They're not junk.
They're not junk. If you had a spare set, I wouldn't care to operate on them. You know what I'm saying? And see what we could do. Now, in the grand scheme of things here, quite possibly, we could pop all this stuff out of here, and this piece right here relies on these snaps around the side here. There's some little teeny tiny snaps in the sides of them.
Yeah.
And if you can get them open, I can make them back. But my thing is, I don't want to tear them up, because I would hate to break them or get into them and there'll be something there, like say they're welded together or something, or you just don't never know what the companies are doing when they make these.
Yeah.
like a Ford, they've got screws in behind these mirrors, and you can pull them right out of there. And then on the outside edges, there's a bunch of little dimples. And them little dimples are a set of 2 plastic pieces like that. And then there is a little, imagine, see this shape right here is on this?
Yeah.
There's a little plastic piece that comes out of the top on each corner of this. And it sets in just a little bit. So when you click these together, it pushes those out like this, and then they seat back over top of it like this. And you can get them open and get into them. But now on some of the other ones, like that Tundra that I done that headliner in, I had to drill this out right here and reach in there and hit pins to knock it out. But you can't tell it once I'm done, but it has to be done to get this out.
And you just don't know what kind of work it's going to be until you can get in there.
You never know until you can get into it.
That's fair.
You never know. But now, if a man had a wrecked one somewhere and had some visors that were trashed out of a work truck or something there, and we could operate on them and learn how they work before we destroy them, it would be a lot better. Because now I done Brandon's. I got his apart and wrapped him in Suede. But now these may be a completely different ballgame. I don't know what these are going to require. We can look at them and see.
Okay. Whatever you think.
We'll try it. I don't know where.
If it won't be difficult, we can look at it. If not,
yeah, it ain't bad if we can get it open.
And also, I'm probably going to get the sand paint and do the other stuff.
The sand paint does a good job. Just be sure you get the clear coat too to go with it, or they'll scratch. That's another key factor, is put that clear over it to protect them.
Okay.
Because that clear does a whole lot for them.
Okay.
It's for no other reason other than just to adhere to the board. And then when we come back in here in a minute, and like I said, this is overkill, but it's just how I do it. I'd rather have too much glue than not enough glue. But we're just going to light coat the whole thing this second time. And then when we come back in, we'll add coats as we put the material on.
How's it packing up?
So, about a minute, or about 2 minutes. Just a second ago when I got done, I walked outside and walked back in, and when I touched it, it was dry. Had no stick to it whatsoever. So it's going to be fast.
Okay.
Started is because I was never embarrassed to talk to myself. I just talk. You know, I don't care if I'm talking to myself or talking to the wall. I just talk to myself. And you'll catch me sometimes, I'll be sitting in here and I'll be going like this, and Jake will be across the room looking at me. He's like, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm planning out how I'm going to attack that when that time comes." And he's like, "But you ain't saying nothing." I said, "But in my head, I know what I'm talking to myself about." Just like these, what my plan is because you've got a up, a flat, and a down. So probably what'll go on is I'll get y'all to hold that up, and I'll keep it straight to here, and then I'll come in with my hands and go down and seat the bottom first and work my sides in, and then try to work this out this other way and go from there. It's one of those things that we'll have to, it's trial and error. We'll figure it out when we get into it. But those deep pockets like that are hard to do anything with because you can't stick it around the sides and shove it in or you'll rip it. You've got to let it do its thing, and it'll tell you where it wants to go most of the time. You just got to learn how to work with it.
How long have you been doing the headliners? What's the first?
A long time. I've probably been fooling with headliners since it was one of my first couple of jobs when I opened this shop. And I started part-timing in 18, and then I've been full-time now for, I think this will be my 5th year in about, what are we, like the 15th of this month, 16th? I think the 25th of this month will make 5 years.
That's crazy.
Because I put my 2 weeks in at the school system, and I made a post on Facebook that in 2 weeks I would start full time, and I was looking to, take in more work. And I believe it's about the 25th of June is when I took off with it, and I've been doing it ever since. And I've yet to do the same thing twice.
Really?
The same thing, except Triton boat seats. There's a certain amount of Triton boat seats. There's a certain year, and I've done probably 15 or 20 sets of those. But now, when it comes to anything else, nothing's. I've never done 2 things identical. I've never done. This is my first one of these headliners. I've never done the same thing twice. You just gotta take what you know about upholstery as a whole and apply it to each different thing. And then you still learn stuff. I mean, just like furniture. Furniture is is a very hard ball game. I mean, they do stuff inside out, backwards, and sideways, and that's the hard thing about this, and it's just like mechanic work or anything else. So you've got to be able to think of things just like building seat covers. You've got to be able to think of things inside out and backwards at the same time, because on a seat cover, what you do on a seat cover for a vehicle or anything like that is you build them inside out, and then you turn them inside out to put them on. So you've always got to keep yourself, you've got to stay 3 steps ahead, and that's why I'm crazy. Because I'm sitting here thinking about, okay, well, this has got to be inside and outside and backwards at the same time, but these 2 pieces do this and these 2 pieces do that. And then I'm sitting in here, and Dad and them's like, just go to the house, find you something else to do. You're driving us nuts.
Man, I might not have. I was worried about that. I asked Jacob, I said, do you think I got it?
Right here, this one needs to come.
Can I touch it down right now? Yeah, it won't stick. Ain't gonna go on it.
See right here?
These pockets are double the deepness. Or like the bend on them, the bend on them looks way steeper.
It'll be alright. We'll figure it out.
You got something to cover with it.
Do we need any more this way up here?
You should be fine. I'll have to watch that. The number one thing is here in a second when I get ready for that and you guys are holding it for me, I'll be sure to keep you guys up and try to be as straight as possible with the edge. That way that when we don't get off, because if something happens and it walks and I get over here too far, it'll track and say you come up like this, and that's the last thing you would want is for it to come up like that. You have that left showing. That's the last thing that we want. But this stuff is stretchy. I can get almost an inch out of it. So, and the thing about this is, and I'll show you, this stuff that you're buying stretches this way and this way. So it really helps. But now the other stuff that I use sometimes, I've got some of it right here. Let me show you here. The suede is deeper than the stuff that you had got. But if you look, it has no stretch to it whatsoever. See?
Oh, nothing.
It has no stretch.
Nothing.
None. And that's what happens when you get into that. Now mine's got a little bit bigger nap on it. And he'll show fingerprints a little bit better. But in the name, we'd never get those pockets with this. We would fight that to the bitter end, trying to get that in there. That's more or less, if you got a good flat headliner or something and you ain't got a bunch of radiuses and stuff, this stuff's awesome. But when them pockets come into play, that is good stuff. And I've used that on 2 or 3 things. That's what Brandon brought up here and put on his too. Yep, same kind of stuff. So we'll fold this thing back. And then we'll strap her down here and get ready for...
We're just going to put the clamps on it.
Yeah, we'll put clamps on. Let me go over there and try to get my clamps.
And you get this as straight as possible.
Yep, straight as possible, and we'll be cool with that. We'll do that right there. You see how that halfway point's falling right on that? We may need to advance forward to like here to allow me a little bit of give. Because if we fall right here and I'm stuck here and I come over here to this side, I may have issues.
We're clamping these so when it blows, it don't blow glue everywhere, right?
Yep. The whole goal of this is just to be sure that when you're trying to hit your edges of your material with your glue, what'll happen is it'll blow with the compressed air, and sometimes in cases it will get on it. Now if you've got a whole lot hanging over, you'll be fine, but I always clamp the edges of it because if you get that glue on this suede, it will not come off of it.
And we do not want that.
And we do not want that. And I'll get glue on all of this right through here. Same concept as the headliner board. We want 1 coat of glue on this lightly, just kind of hit or miss. Let it dry completely up. Another light coat to get it on there. And those 2 light coats will be your base. All that's for is to bind into this. 2 things reactivate the Weldwood: heat and itself. So when you've got heat in itself, what you can do is you can either take heat and reactivate it, or you can reactivate it with more glue. So once we get 2 base layers on this, we can let it dry completely up. Then I can come through and I can hit all this again really lightly with my glue, and then I can hit all this again really lightly with glue, and it reactivates everything under it, and then when you put it down, it'll stick to itself and it's adhered to the board. Number one thing, prep work is key. It will, I mean, the 2 coats, you can do it on the foam with 1 coat and let it dry, and then the second coat, get it and stick it, and then this. But I like 2, and then hit it lightly that 3rd time, and then they stick. I've never had one fall. So that's what we're running with here.
Sounds good.
We don't want it to fall. That's the key. And on there. So
Yep.
I always try to, where I've got those clipped, I always try to come at it like that. That way I'm blowing over top of it.
You're not taking chances.
Yeah, not taking any chances of getting anything on the material. And don't forget your front, because if you forget your front both times, you'll come back and you'll stick the headliner down, and then there'll be this strip across the center that's just bubbly. I've done it. It's a disaster.
What do you do if, let's say, worst case scenario, we mess up on this board? You're working on one and there's a bad spot on it, not just a little wrinkle like a big pocket right there.
So like, say something happens and we get down in here and our prep work didn't take good and our glue fails and this pops up. There's absolutely no way to fix it. You have to start it just like we started this video. You have to peel it off and go right back into it with the wire brushes and clean it off, and it will be 3 times as hard to take off because it's got fresh glue than it was with glue that had been in it since
2016.
So that's the key.
And there was a considerable amount of difference in the 2016 glue and even the 2011 glue from that other one we did.
Yeah, I mean, this one right here, when they start falling, what you see is over time, when you get 20, 25 years on a vehicle or something like that, and you see your headliner starting to fall, that's why I always tell everybody, hey, if your headliner's starting to fall, don't ride around with your windows down. Because as it's pecking, it's going to fall. It's going to keep shaking itself loose. Because think about gaskets in vehicles, or think about what happens if you got a rip in your boat seat and it sees sunlight. So what happens is this foam starts breaking down over time. It's not the glue that's giving up when the headliners fall, it's the foam. It can only take so much. Just like if you look up there in the top of that, you see that blue piece of foam?
Yep.
Right up there on top? Okay, so that blue piece of foam right up there came to this shop 2 weeks ago. Every piece of foam is blue when it's made. That piece of foam on top of that car has been here about 2 months. See the difference?
Yeah, I see the difference.
So it's turning yellow as time goes on, as it's exposed to the oxygen and stuff. So that's what happens. It'll start turning yellow, and then as it's turning yellow, and time goes on and it sees heat, cold, heat, cold, heat, cold. See, this is a closed cell. This is open cell. So imagine it like a crumple of leaves, and there's pockets all in throughout it. So it's laminated to the top of that crumpled leaves. Well, as long as them crumpled leaves is good underneath there, you're good. But when one little piece gets deteriorated, and then another and another and another, that's why when I watch these boys on TikTok and some of these places clean these headliners with drills, it hurts my feelings, because they don't know what's up there or what could happen. I'd love to know how many times has somebody went in for a detail and they had a stain in the roof and somebody scrubbed it with,
drill brush
or something, and then in 2 months the headliner fell out of it. That stuff scares me. Not even on a 2024 model truck, kid pops a pop open and you get pop on it lightly with a hand brush, scrub it out there, would probably be about as far as I would go, or steam it or something like that. I would not take a drill brush and clean any headliner.
I've seen some of them take like warm water and some Dawn and wipe on it and try to just wipe it out.
And the scary part about that is on gray and tan and stuff headliners. So what happens is if you got a stain right here and you take Dawn and stuff and a scrub brush or a toothbrush and you scrub that loose and dab it out there, yeah, you got your stain, but what about this watermark? So you got to do the whole headliner to get the watermark off of it. That's the key to all this. I watch these videos, these guys up in them roofs, and they're just going to town with a drill brush. And I'm like, has anybody ever come back to you and said that their headliner fell a month later? So I just worry about that stuff. That's why I don't like, because you see what you're working with here. You're talking about an 1/8 inch of foam and a little old piece of t-shirt material. So, it could be tore up. I just wonder if anybody's got in there with the drill brush and been going to town and hit wadded the whole headliner up and brought it out.
That would be bad.
Oh, it would be bad. You just think somebody goes in for $100 detail and you do that to their roof, and then upholstery shop. Like
More than $100.
more than $100 to get that, because taking the headliner out, wrapping it, the materials and everything that come with it, it's a lot of work, and you've done that with a drill brush. All right, coat number 2. Whoa, what are you doing? So I'll get everything from this side about middle-ways out, is what I try to do. And then I'll go to this side and try to get everything about middle-ways, you know, back. That way that I'm not shooting glue down into my stuff. But we're good either way. Okay, so we'll let that one get dried, and then we'll dust both of them at the same time and flip them over. Is now I'm going through here and I'm hitting all these terminal spots, like the edges that want to hit good, and these spots is going to be deep around the edge of this, where this console is going to go. That's how I'm getting my 80% coverage. All the way across the front, across them edges, right into there, down this edge, in the bottom of that lip, in the bottom of that right there, anywhere that we're going to cut a hole in it or something like that is what I'm up to. And then, now you see I've done went around all that stuff. Then I'm just going to dust everything else. And I'm spraying it. And he's walked off on me. Isn't it hard? I'll get him in a second. It's big. It's time. So, y'all do that, and I will push.
You want to start back here?
This one's getting there, but I just don't want to push it in and have a wet spot somewhere. It's getting there. It's warm enough that it'll.
If it gets wet and you tack it together,
it won't stick.
Okay.
So what we're going for is, I just take the back of my hand and touch it, and when nothing's coming off on the back of your hand, like, see how right there some come off on my hand?
Yeah.
That spot's not ready. But everywhere else, hear how it's going when I touch it?
Yeah.
Everything else is getting ready, but there's some more that come off on my hand. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to speed this process up by putting a little air on it. You can do it with compressed air. You can take a heat gun to it and kind of rush it, but I don't want to rush it too awful much, because if I rush it too awful much, it kind of affects the strength of it. So I don't want to do that, but just like right there, I've got a little come off on my finger. So just a second or two and we'll be ready to do this.
Now we're
Just go straight forward up there towards her and just stand at the front and keep it up. Is all we're at. And then I'll work it this way right through here.
trying to keep any tension on it other than right here.
barely, just hold it just like
Barely hold it there, and I'm gonna work it in with my hands. And then I'm gonna see where I'm at here with everything. Then I'll slowly work it across. Go to this side. I'm gonna keep up with where my handles are and make sure that I can get into those places. Okay, so give me a little slack.
I want to drop this
Okay,
stuff and drop mine.
and I'm gonna go into this hole right here. Okay, so there's my hole. Okay, and then I need to get back in here to work this up. That's a box wrinkle, is what that is. And then right here somewhere, it's gonna do a complete change of everything. Get in there, touch on that one right there. Okay, so that one's there like that. I'm gonna feed myself a little slack to get down in this hole here. And then we gotta work it out to make sure that we don't have a pucker. Give me a little slack up there. But we don't want that right there. Then we're going to, we'll just see you keep straight right here. Okay, so I'm trying to see where this begins and ends. Yeah, you'll be fine right there. So pull a little on this right there. Yeah, perfect. So then we'll get it out like this. Give me a little. Okay, and then I'm going to swap sides and get the other side even with me, and then I'll continue out the front. Like right in there, and I should be plenty fine right there. Just don't let it touch up there. That one right there, and a little bit. Okay, let me move back to that side. Okay, so give me a little, okay, right there. And then we're gonna get back into here. Come out. Quit that. Do something. Okay. A little bit there. Get in that corner. You're good right there, pal. I'll work this out this direction. Right there. Try to get this up to their level and not put too much stress on it. Come up with this one right here. Can you get your hand back in here? Carefully, right there. So take and pull a little bit on that, right like that. And then let me see if I can't. Okay, so that one, let me come back in this way. If I got slack down here in this hole, it's fine. You know what I'm saying? But I don't want slack nowhere else. Like right there is perfectly fine. Everything's good. It's stuck. This one's good. That one's good. Now let's see if we can get this to unfight with me here. Take this and stick this around there. Going right there like that, and give myself a little bit of slack. Then we're going to fight it out this direction. Not like that. I'm fighting the time limit on my glue is one other thing. So I gotta be sure that I'm sticking everything. This one right here comes up this side. Hang on. Sorry, I pulled that right out of your hand.
No, you're good. I
was taking a sneaky peek. Oh, I was up too.
That looks really good.
Yeah, this guy knows what he's doing.
It is one of them things that it is very tedious work. And you just got to kind of let it do its thing.
How many times did you have to do this before you got the hang of it?
A bunch. I wish I had all the money that I've thrown in that trash can over there back. I have lost more money at this than I've made.
Now, whenever we took this off of here, it was wrapped underneath there a little bit.
That's
on
what you
the front
got.
and
That's
back.
what you got to watch, because if they don't have no
won't look
trim,
good. Yeah, if they ain't got no trim, they won't look good. You'll just have a big raw edge
Okay.
somewhere there. Okay, just hold up on that one right there. I'm gonna see if I can crease this edge right here. Just a second, enough to get it to stick. And then once I get all the glue working to my advantage, we'll be fine. Okay. Now see that right there is a prime place to screw up and make a wrinkle. If you get too fast and just go, you'll make a wrinkle out of this right here, because when you push it,
let me swap.
when you push it, it'll make it fold over. And if you touch those two pieces together on the back, they will wrinkle in an instant. So you really got to watch what you're doing with those. That one right there is a fold wrinkle. Okay, there's that one. There's that one. And happy. And you just get everything in there. What's that one doing right there? I hear it getting crunchy on me. Oh, it's stuck. Yeah, it's stuck. I love a black headliner.
Is that sarcastic?
No, I do. You get in here with a white one or something other, and you worry about your hands. You can't touch nothing. Everything's backwards. You know, it's. Rub that right there. Let me rub that. Glue to stick and then get it to stick to itself. That's why you got to rub on everything.
Yeah.
And if you don't rub on it, say you do this whole headliner and you miss a spot that you don't rub, it'll never stick back.
Really?
It'll dry up after a couple days, get completely dry, and you'll never get it to stick back. But wet to wet does not work.
So the main key is getting this all to stick.
Dry to dry will not work. But if you reactivate it, we're trying to get this thing on here before it loses its tack, right on that sweet spot of its degassing process. We don't want it too dry, we don't want it too wet, because if it's too wet, it won't stick. If it's too dry, it won't stick. Well, then there's no way to reactivate it if it ain't sticking besides pull it back and take heat to it. Well, you can't put heat on foam. It'll melt it. So the only way, if you screw it up, is to keep adding layers of glue to make it re-stick. And it's just a whole, I know I'm speaking Spanish.
No.
It's one of them deals that there's a lot.
It makes sense because you're making it make sense.
Yeah. There's a lot to it. I mean, it's just not as simple as, sticking it.
Sure. I got more if you need them. Zack, grab that. Let's set that box down. It's got more in it.
Drying quick. Yeah. It's drying quick. Thanks, Steve.
Another TikTok video real quick.
Yeah, it's getting close. By the time we get everything ready, it'll be. Yeah. All right.
We'll get this.
I guess.
Now pour it out.
Drop down just a little bit there and then just kind of pour.
All right, here we go. Let me look for my hazards here. Okay, so I'm going to start in the center and get us stuck.
Just kind of watch your material, and like I said, we'll just try to keep it.
Okay, give me a little on this side right here so I can get into my bottom here. Oh, those are deep. Those are deep. Those are forever down in there.
Yeah.
Like that's a whole finger's width down in there. Oh gosh. Stick. Okay, I'm gonna need, I'll have to do way more on the next side, on the other side, because that almost ended badly right there. Like that was almost a tragic event.
Expecting that.
No, it was way deeper than what I thought it was. Yeah, it was way deeper. I thought I overkilled it. No, it was like bad news. Okay, right there.
You got ready to drop down that other hole.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to get up here through the light.
That's what I was gonna say.
I'm gonna get the part that I'm dreading the most.
Straight across.
I'm going straight across and getting that other right there because that is that's deep. Like that's an inch deep trying to get down in that thing. Okay.
Over to you, boss.
So I'm gonna come in. I'm gonna pull this time and give myself more. Let's see if I can get my thigh up against it. Make it happen. I'm gonna come in like this and I'm gonna pull myself a bunch of slack and then I'm gonna stick it where it can't move. And then I'm gonna take the slack up by going to the bottom first and then kind of just let it ride over the corners. And then I can get down in there. And the key is not letting it stick to the other side while you're doing it. That's the big thing. Is if it sticks to the back side, it's not going to drop all the way back in. I'm glad that train wreck's over with. I'm glad I got that out of the way. Now I can actually breathe a little bit here. The rest of it don't scare me that bad. Once I get away from these, where I pulled the slack in it, it makes it do some weird things. And then you got to work your slack back out of it. Okay, give me a little. Okay. Out just a little bit right there, but it will. Got that corner in there, but there's also this weird radius over here on this side. It's kind of making me have to do odd things. Okay, so that's there. But where this side right here, it's got this odd kind of up, over, up.
Yeah.
That's what's getting me kind of pinned in a corner. And I'm having to watch what I really do. And then we're going to go back up again. If I'm not completely, yes, we are. So we're going to go back up again here in just a second. And that's going to make life even harder. Okay, so I'm going to get this in, and then I'm going to swap off and go to Dad's side once I get it up.
Okay.
And we get this all set. Get everything kind of...
Watch that right there.
Yeah, keep that one up. Yeah, you just keep that one up right there, and then I'm gonna go over here and stick Dad's side right real fast because I've got as much as I can get right here. And another thing is you gotta rely on your feel. If you feel it trying to roll up or something under your hands, you can't move so fast that you just go over top of it and cram it down. So there should be a U shape right in here somewhere. And then see how it makes a bubble right there where you're coming up flat and up again? So then you can come in and give it just a little bit and press it down to work those bubbles out. But you've got to constantly be on your toes watching which direction this thing wants to go compared to which direction you want it to go. And you've got to kind of fight that battle all the time of, you know, hey, it wants to do this, but it's wanting to wrinkle, and I want it to do this. Okay, give me a little right here. It needs to come out that way, okay? Perfect, perfect. Okay, I'm gonna stick it. I'll stick it like that. Okay, give me a little tension here. Okay, and I should be able to stick that. Okay, let me come over to your side. Let's see if we can make this happen. So it wants to go like this.
Pulling right.
Yep, you're pulling right. You got it.
That makes me nervous, man. Like my hands are sweating.
Yep, just got to back up, punt. No big deal. Can't get mad. Can't throw a fit. Because it's going to do what it does. It's an opportunity to learn, even though it really aggravates you. And it's really hard when something happens like that to stop and say, oh, well, you know, what did I learn out of this? And go back and punt and hit it again and try to get it going because, well, you've done screwed it up, you know. It's done hurt your feelings. All right, that's her.
Oh, is it not doing it? Not doing it. Is it light? Is it light?
I'm gonna leave this long.
That's fine.
And the reason why I'm gonna leave it long is it's easier to reach it, for you to reach up in there with a pair of scissors and trim it off than it is for me to cut it too close and it be seen. I don't think we'll have that issue here, but I always make it a habit to leave a little length so that way it goes up, folds over, and then like where your handles go, I won't cut them out square, I'll X them.
Sounds good.
Because it's easier for you to be able to reach back in there and just snip it with a pair of scissors than it is for me to cut it out perfect. And then when you put it up there, you're like, man, I can see the edge of that cut in there. So
when I get off work tomorrow,
You can't see it in this video, but I'm telling you, this looks so good.
yeah, it's
And like you can't grasp like the depth of that. It's ridiculous.
I got Zack and Caleb supposed to help me with that deer stand tomorrow. I got another 4-wheeler coming, so I can get them up there. Cause Zack will have a connection fix.
Don't use this stuff to put headliners on, but this is just going to hold this here till you get it up. So when we fold this back, I'm gonna come through here and trim this again. I'm gonna put just a little dab of this down through here to hold it till you get it in, because it'll hold 3 months or so like that. But it will not hold the headliner up. Is the thing. I need to trim this. make sure that wasn't turned loose. It's glued plumb out to the end, but it's not got no glue on the outside edge.
Now the edges of this is going to have something.
Yeah, it'll have it up
holding
against it.
Your trim's going to hold the edges of it up, ain't it?
Yeah. So all I'm trying to do here is get this back in here deep enough that all your trim and stuff will fit. And if it overhangs, all you gotta do is take your little screwdriver or anything like that and just push it back up in there and hide it.
These are the only things that I really worry about because they came out weird. Whether it's like slide them in or what.
I bet they're Christmas trees and there's a hole in the roof, and I bet there's little round things
I
on
need
it.
to get those off.
Yeah, take them off, put them back in it.
Off and put them back in this. Now
You can borrow my tool.
Okay.
Smack it back up in there.
You can borrow my tool to get them out with. And then that right there will fold back in there. But what we'll do to make it easier is we'll clip that right there off like that. That way it don't have so much bulk. Good deal.
You're bad for that. You're bad to start talking.
I just start talking. That's what it is. But so the deal is with these glues, what makes them so bad, and the reason why that they will not work is it's a solids thing. So like these cans of glue, this is better than those headliner glues that I showed you to begin with. Because when you spray this, you see it's a white, almost looks like silly string. So there's actually solids in this. But what happens is you're looking at about 80-some% fillers, propellants, and all that different stuff in those cans of those headliner adhesive. I'll go grab one, then we'll compare it. You're not getting any glue. You may as well just go get some hairspray and use it because there's not much solids in these. It's glue, yes, at the end of the day, but the percentage of solids in this can is not there. So when you're sitting here and you're looking at this can and you're talking, okay, 20% is glue and 80% is propellants and other things, you're not getting any solids. This has a little more solids in it, but the deal with it is I just use this stuff to stick material to foam to get it to the table so I can sew it on permanently. Now, the deal with my Weldwood is you have no propellants because you're shooting off of, compressed air. It is straight solids. It's 100% glue you're putting down. You're not getting some glue and some different things, whatever probably some big words on the back of here that's just fancy for filler. And it's something other that helps it not break down over time and not do these things, not set up in the can. The reason why that stuff does so good is if you don't watch what you're doing and air gets to it, it'll set up. It has to be sealed. It has to be in a certain place. That's not for the general public is the thing. These are safe for the general public. So these get really popular but they have no actual substance to them that makes it stay. That's the deal. You spray this on there, and it's just like hairspray. I mean, this stuff right here, it's got, well, watch it when I get it out here. See, it's just a little bit of spray. Now, that same amount of mine, when that stuff all foams out and stuff, you're looking at pretty much hairspray there on the ground. And with the atomizer and all that different stuff, you're spraying hairspray. It just doesn't have what it takes to hold that headliner long term. And these dips in these, it would never hold these dips. Just flat out. You know what we done in here and just shoved those down in there, and the stress that's under. Just can't do it. With the Weldwood and stuff, you're shooting a whole lot more solids. You can buy rattle cans of the Weldwood, but at the end of the day, if you don't want to invest in the spray can and the glue you can buy it in gallons and you can buy it in 5 gallons. But if you don't want to invest in it, you can do the rattle cans. But again, your solids goes down when you go to a rattle can. So always my recommendation is if you're going to try it yourself, buy the spray gun, an actual glue spray gun. There's a difference. Those aren't paint spray guns that I use. Those are glue guns.
Okay.
You got to have a good glue gun and you got to have the good glue. Everything will go good. You got to understand how the glue works, stuff just like what I talked about, how it's, your coats and stuff, and you're looking for it to tack, you got to let it degas and all those different things. But if you follow those steps, make sure you do your prep work, and just work in small areas and make sure you don't get carried away and just go swiping and put a big wrinkle out in the center of it. Anybody can do this stuff. It just takes the right glues and the right things and a little bit of time and patience, and everything's cool.
I like that.
Beautiful work, Zach.
Beautiful work, Zach.
Back pat.
All right, guys. We saw, we came, we conquered. Thanks to our man Zack here at Tri-County Upholstery. Call him if you want your headliner wrapped.
Oh yeah, we wrap them.
Looks great. Man, you've done such a good job with this, actually.
I'm tickled with that one. That looks really good. That is a weird headline though, because I mean, your radiuses and stuff is so odd because you've got all these dips and turns and ins and outs. I mean, and this is hard right on this corner right here because you're coming around and you're crossing and you're going down and up at the same time. I mean, that's what makes it really hard. I mean, just wrapping anything that's what you got to watch for, is where your trouble points are. And you're gonna have trouble right here because you're coming up out of the hole, across the flat, going down and going up at the same time.
Deep.
It is crazy.
And
It's way deeper than that first one.
Yeah, they're deep down in there, and that's the thing about it. I mean, it's just one of those deals. As over time you mess with stuff, you get better and better at it.
Yeah.
Jacob Lesser just called me.
He's probably seeing if you're putting.
So yet again, I was leaving Tri-County Upholstery. If you guys did like this video, subscribe for more, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.